everyone in WLA tonight. We have a special night tonight. We have an opportunity to honor our seniors. So if I could have all of our seniors, please come out to the center of the mat here. We've been very blessed with 5 senior wrestlers and 1 senior manager. I'm going to start out with Kylie Monroe. She came to us a couple years ago and asked if she could be a manager. It's amazing all the stuff that she does and how much easier she makes it on me and for all the guys on the team. A huge asset. Her future plans is she's going to go to Dona International University and she's going to study to be a midwife. Thank you, Kylie. We have 5 senior boys on our team this year. The first young man is Carson Fulton. You can step forward. Carson's been a 4-year varsity starter for us. He's a conference champion, a sectional qualifier, super hardworking and dedicated all 4 years. His plans in the future is he would like to become an engineer. He's down to 2 colleges that he's going to attend, and I'm not going to say either of them. He's going to choose one of those very soon. Carson Fulton. Owen Moyen is our next wrestler. Owen is a 4-year varsity starter also. He's a conference champion, and his future plans are go to school to be a welder. Owen Moyen. Our next wrestler is Eli Mum. Eli came out as a sophomore. He's worked super hard. He's been on the varsity, off of the varsity, been down to 126 all the way up to 145. He's a team player, works extremely hard and has stuck with it all 3 of these years, and his plan is to go into the trades. Eli Mom. Our next senior, Jacob Hewitt. Jacob Hewitt has had a ton of adversity. He tore his knee up as a freshman, tore his other knee up as a sophomore, and didn't get a chance to wrestle to his junior year. And if you remember anything about last year, there weren't many matches. This year he's really come together and is wrestling extremely well, and his plans are go to school and become an electrician. Jacob Hewitt. Our last senior is Gage Kratz. Gage is also a 4-year wrestler. He's been on varsity for 3 years. He's willing to do anything to help the team, whether he wrestles 160, 170, 182, 195, whatever it takes to help our team. He's been super dedicated to the sport. I think Gage, probably you shaped your body more than any wrestler I've ever coached. He made kind of tubby, and now you're pretty chiseled. So congratulations on that. He plans to go to school to become an electrician. Gage Kratz. Thank you for coming tonight, and thank you. Let's have a nice round of applause for all of our seniors.
Good evening, and welcome to tonight's conference matchup between the Cardinals of Mayville High School and your Winnebago Lutheran Academy Vikings. Now, to honor America and those defending our freedom, we ask those who are able to stand, remove any hats you are wearing, and place your hand over your heart for the playing of our national anthem. If you wish to sing along, you may. student athletes, coaches, and spectators at education-based interscholastic events. We request your cooperation by supporting the participants and officials in a positive manner. Profanity, racist, sexist, and ethnic comments or other intimidating or taunting actions or chants will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal from the site of competition. Please enjoy the game in a positive manner. And now the lineups for our wrestling conference meet tonight. At 106 pounds from WLA, Bryce Linval, wrestling unopposed. At 113 pounds from WLA, wrestling unopposed, Riley Lutke. At 120 pounds from Mayville High School, Soren Hewley versus Clayton Ebert from WLA. At 126 pounds from Mayville, Wyatt Mayrose versus WLA's Kaylee Richardson. 132 pounds wrestling unopposed, Carson Fulton. At 138 pounds wrestling unopposed, Owen Moyne. At 145 pounds from Mayville High School, Paul Sawyer. From WLA, Eli Mum. 152 pounds from Mayville, Taylor Sarinsky versus WLA's Jacob Hewitt. 160 pounds from the Cardinals, Marcus Bokert. From WLA, Brendan Ebert. 170 pounds from Mayville, Ramon Bokert. WLA, Gage Kratz. At 182 pounds, wrestling unopposed for WLA, Terry Gill. 195 pounds, a double forfeit. 220 pounds, wrestling unopposed from Mayville High School, Cole Allegas. And a double forfeit at 285 pounds. The starting weight for tonight is 138 pounds. May we have the coaches and captains out at the center of the mat, please.
Welcome in here to the campus of Winnebago Lutheran Academy. Jordan King with you, taking you through tonight's conference duel between the Vikings and the Cardinals. Second time in the past week. Last Thursday, we saw the Cardinals basketball team come in and walk away with a pretty comprehensive victory over the Vikings on the boys basketball side of things. We've already seen the Cardinals girls basketball team, and now for the final time, we'll see a Winter Sports Mayville Cardinals roster here at WLA, and it's the wrestling team. So we got the duel coming up here tonight, and you just heard the starting lineups. Senior night for the Vikings, and they do have 5 seniors: Carson Fulton, Owen Moyne, Eli Mum, Jacob Huey, and Gage Kratz. Those are the 5 seniors, along with manager Kylan Monroe for the Vikings. And based on the rosters that are here, I think we're looking at a pretty short duel. So if you are tuning in, keep it here. And if you know someone that wants to tune in, tell them to turn it on right now, because I don't think we're going to be around here too long. Mayville's forfeiting 6 weight classes. There's going to be a couple of double forfeits as well. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Now, talking to Coach Recker earlier in the week, when you have duels like this where you know you're going to win just based on forfeits, and it's Eli Mum collecting a senior night forfeit for the Vikings to get them up 6-0 here. But when you know you're going to win just based on forfeits, just based on the lineups, that's when you want to go out there. It's about the matches that you do wrestle. That's the direct quote from Coach Recker. In these situations, quote, it's about the matches that you do wrestle. So up at 145, it's Paul Sawyer Pratt and Owen Moyne for the Vikings. and they're going to get things going with a 6-0 Viking lead. So here's one of the seniors for the Vikings, Owen Moyen, a four-year varsity wrestler for the Vikes, and a quick shot by Owen, and within 8 seconds he's got a 2-0 lead with the takedown. Riding across wrist here on Sawyer Pratt. Sawyer Pratt, a sophomore for the Cardinals, and Owen Moyen riding tough on top. He's had to wrestle up all season long. He's listed at 138, Owen Moyen, but never gotten to wrestle there. He's always at 145. He might have had a 152. There he gets the cross wrist hooked up, stacks Sawyer Pratt up, and there is a pin. That took just 33 seconds for Owen Moyen, and it's a 12-0 lead for the Vikings. At 152, Taylor Surinsky will be the wrestler from Mayville. He'll walk up to the scorer's table, and he'll be met up there by Jacob Huey, another one of these fine seniors for the Vikings. And it's a program, wrestling-wise, that continues to grow under Coach Recker, Coach Recker, both of them. And I think this senior class is one that I think Coach Recker is going to miss, because I think it kind of exemplifies how far the wrestling program and what kind of traction Coach Recker is starting to get. Now, it was a big loss last Thursday to Lemira down at Lemira, and Lemira is going to win the conference this year. At least, they're certainly heavy favorites to do so. And we'll see what happens between Lemira and Campbellsport with the Cougars back in the conference. That's another, maybe perhaps a chance for the first time in years and years for Lemira not to walk into every season as the heavy favorite. There's a quick takedown here for Surinsky. Surinsky, a senior for the Cardinals. So that'll be interesting to see a little bit later on, but I think Lemira is probably the best team in the conference. And it came down to a couple of results for the Vikings that were close, where they had leads, where they were dominating, had Lions in tough positions, as Huey able to get to his feet and get the escape from Surinsky, and it's 2-1. 12-0 on the team scoreboard, a forfeit and a fall thus far. But Vikings lost all momentum in that duel last week, and then obviously it's a tough place to go wrestle there at Lemira with the tradition, and they get revved up for their wrestling down there just south on I-41. Here's a front headlock, and Huey's going to crawl around, try to get that control. I think he's got it. Certainly got the hips there, and he spins this around after a 2-0 deficit. He's quickly up 3-2. He's going to try to pick Surinsky up and return him to the mat. Now punches or kicks a leg in, pardon me. And riding tough on top. You can tell it certainly looks like Huey's giving up some weight. He's 145er up here at 152. And Huey does a nice job there despite the size disadvantage. And rides out Surinsky for the remainder of that first period. He's going to go down, Will Huey, after Surinsky deferred to the third period. 3-2. We've wrestled one match so far. We had a forfeit at 138. That was Eli Mumm. Owen Moyen got a fall in 33 seconds at 145, and now up here at 152. All three of the wrestlers so far for the Vikings have been seniors. Should see Gage Kratz tonight. I don't know if Gage is going to have a forfeit or not. So far, both seniors that have wrestled for the Vikings have collected 6 points. Jacob Huey currently with the lead as well. Just 20 seconds into the second period here. Vikings also get forfeits. Carson Fulton will end with a forfeit for the Vikings at 132. That's how the duel will end. Vikings will have locked up the win well before that. Not saying you shouldn't stick around. We should have some good wrestling between now and then, I would hope. Surinsky doing a nice job here on top, riding tough on Jacob Huey. And trying to lock up a cradle. I think he's got it. Can he spin Huey around and get him to his back? He He's going to get all 3 back points. Huey's in a tough spot, but Sarinsky's got to clear that shoulder. He's got his shoulder just under the left shoulder of Huey, and Huey trying to get control of that left leg with his right arm, trying to keep the shoulders off. He's doing a good job here of keeping that right shoulder off, but it's 50 seconds left here in the second period. He's got a long time he's going to have to try to fight this if he can't get bellied back down. Tough situation here for Huey. He chose to go down, and ooh, that's close, but he kicks that left shoulder, keeps the right one off as well. He's doing a really good job, but Sarinsky was in too deep with the cradle, and about a minute and a half into the second period, Taylor Sarinsky picks up the first points. We'll call it 3:28 officially on the fall for Taylor Sarinsky. So 12-6, and we'll move up to 160. This will be Marcus Vokert for the Cardinals. He's a junior. And we'll see who the Vikings send up there. Brendan Ebert will wrestle up from 152.
At 160 pounds from Mayville, Marcus Volker. From WLA, Brendan Ebert.
So they'll get him going there with the lead cut in half for the Vikings. And Vokert and Ebert will hook it up in the center of the mat. So a little bit of stifling of the momentum there as Jacob Huey ran into a really good wrestler in Taylor Sarinsky. You know, the other thing to talk to Coach Recker about is managing expectations. And it's easy to kind of get worn, especially when you get into dual season. Now, you have the portion of the year where you're playing, you're wrestling in a lot of tournaments, and that is still the case. They've had tournaments recently, but you get into dual season, and what you're trying to do is fill out a roster. That's the way you win dual matches, is you fill out a roster with 14 wrestlers. If you can do that, you're going to win a lot of matches just based on filling out a roster. But you got to manage your expectations, especially for WLA, when they send Carson Fulton to 138, Owen Moyne to 145, Huey to 152, Ebert up to 160. There are wrestlers for the Vikings who have not wrestled a conference match at their weight yet. And I think that's important when you start to talk about the records of some of these WLA wrestlers, as Ebert does a nice job to kick a leg in and get a takedown with a minute and a half into, just a half minute left in this first period. And Ebert tried to kick in a leg, and Vokert's got to be a little bit careful, but so does Ebert. He's a little bit high here, and Vokert's got that left leg of Ebert. Ebert's now working on the right leg of Vokert with 15 seconds left in the first period. He's still got the leg kicked in, so he's got plenty of control, but he's got to be a little bit careful. Ebert's getting a little high here, and he can't get spun over to his back and let momentum. We've seen several WLA wrestlers over the course of the season pin themselves and get a little too high, technique a little sloppy, and that's what happens. But a nice job there for Ebert to climb back down, retain control. He's going to defer here heading into the second period with a 2-0 lead. So, I'll be interested to see for the Vikings what happens as we climb towards the end of the season here. What happens when they get to conference and these wrestlers get to wrestle at their weight. Jacob Huey gets to wrestle at 145. Brendan Ebert gets to wrestle at 152. I think it'll be interesting how the Vikings look in that scenario, in that situation, when you start to get some of these really, really talented, experienced wrestlers not giving up 10 or 15 pounds at some of these weight classes. Should be interesting. Ebert working well on top here as Vokert decided to go down after Ebert deferred. Ebert's got a power half, and he's trying to flip Vokert to his back. Now chest to chest in deep. There it is. With 1 minute and 17 seconds left in the second period. That's a really nice job by Brendan Ebert. We'll call it 2:43 on the fall for Brendan, up at 160. 18-6, Viking lead. We've seen forfeit, fall. Trio of pins after the forfeit at 138 to get us going, and Vikes have a 12-point lead. It'll be Gage Kratz, I believe, here at 170. Gage is listed at 182, down at 170. You get those couple extra pounds after. This is Ramon Vokert now for the Cardinals at 170. Gage Kratz for the Vikings. You get a couple of extra pounds after the break, so a lot of times these guys can go down. You saw that with Bryson Lindvall. He was a 113, 120 guy for the Vikings early on in the season, and now down at 106 because you get those, 106 turns into 108 at this point in the season. Just 8 seconds in here, and Gage Kratz had his headgear swatted off by Ramon Vokert, and they'll get restarted. Locked up here in the center of the mat. A couple of front headlock opportunities there, or attempts, I should say, by Gage Kratz. Neither proving fruitful for the Vikings' final senior. Check that second last senior. Probably the last one we'll see wrestle tonight. I don't think Carson Fulton will get to wrestle at 132. Front headlock from Vokert this time. Still nothing doing. As more hand fighting continues at the center of the mat. Under a minute here in the first period. Kratz in on a big double. Now switches off to a single on that right leg of Ramon Vokert, trying to get it into the air and trip him to the ground. And now he switches back to a double, gets the takedown. Ooh, man, that looked like control, but I think that was a great no call there. That was well done by the official. Looked like Kratz might have had a takedown, but I think that was a terrific job. Now Kratz does get the takedown, has control. He is chest to chest, going to get all 3 back points. Can he finish Ramon Vokert off? Saved by the horn is Ramon Vokert. Nice job by Gage Kratz, though, to build a 5-point lead heading into the first break. And Kratz is going to go down here to start the second period. So can Gage Kratz, who finished that first period with quite the flurry, and Vokert trying to get his leg in there. He did. He was almost in trouble there. Kratz almost used the momentum against Vokert and spun him to his back. But can Kratz continue the pin spree that we have seen so far? That's the question. He's already built a 6-0 lead, close to a major decision as it stands. Granted, I think by the end of this one, if this continues the way it, well, now Vokert's heavy hands are one thing. A couple of times it looked like he was gripping the headgear of Kratz, and Kratz readjust. I think Gage Kratz is making a point to readjust his headgear, and I can't blame him for that, as Vokert is using that headgear, and if you grab that, that's a violation. And quite frankly, I think you could get that right now. Heavy hands are one thing. Again, totally good with hand fighting, but when your fingers start to bend around that, that's when it becomes an issue. Obviously, referee disagreeing with that. He's closer than I am, so I'll defer to him as the hand fighting continues. Kratz in on a single. Picks up the legs, switches back to a double, and there's a nice, almost got to pull your head out there, Gage. There you go. Pulls the head out, gets the takedown, almost had some back points as well. No back points awarded. That'd have been a really quick count if they'd have given him a couple of back points there. So it's an 8-0 lead, and I think Kratz is going to be content to just ride out this second period. with a major decision in hand. Head to the third period, see if he can't rack up a few more points. A little bit less action there in the second period. Perhaps both of these wrestlers fatiguing a little bit. And it'll be Kratz's choice. He's going to go up. I think that's a really good choice after seeing how he wrestled at the end of the first period and spun Vokert to his back. Can Kratz do that again? Ramon Vokert tries the quick sit out and tries to spin back around, not able to do so. Nice job by Kratz to avoid giving up the escape. 8-0, 18-6. We've had one forfeit, 3 straight pins, and now was that a stall call on Kratz? Did it? If that was a stall call, I didn't see a stall warning. And I also thought Kratz was working. Well, they're saying he wasn't working hard enough. So there you go. Kratz has been on top for the majority of this, and yet they're going to say he is the one that wasn't working. Kratz trying to hook up a cradle. I can't see if he's got it or not. That's on the far side of the mat. He does have it hooked up. Going to get all 3 back points here. Can Gage clear out that shoulder? And there it is. Gage Kratz. Doesn't matter that you give up the stall call when you get a fall. Kratz does that up here at 170.
4 minutes and 49 seconds.
4:49. We'll take Mr. Vilsky's word for it there. 4:49 on the fall makes it 24-6. And we'll go up to 182, where I believe the Vikings will have Terry Gill and Zane Vetter. No, Terry's going to get a forfeit win for the Vikings. Nice to see Terry back out there. And Terry collects a win. That makes it 30-6. I don't know exactly when this is going to become official, but the Vikings have won this duel based on what's to come in terms of forfeits as well. So I think 195. Yep, 195 double forfeit. So nothing doing there. 30-6 remains the score, and we'll go up to 220. This should be a forfeit for the Vikings, and I believe it'll be Cole Legis.
220 pounds from Mayville, Cole Legis.
Cole Legis will get the forfeit win.
285 pounds.
Makes it 30-12. And I believe heavy duty will be a double forfeit as well. Yeah, heavyweight double forfeit, so 30-12. Bryson Lindvall will get a forfeit. That'll make it 36-12. Riley Lidke will get one at 133, making it 42-12. 113, sorry, not 133. Bryson Lindvall gets the win. Good for him. Bryson's on the cusp now. Bryson does not have a ton of wrestling, did not come into the year with a ton of wrestling experience, but you can tell. And I continue to get the same reports from both of the record coaches that he's close. Riley Lidke also wrestled her best earlier this week, I was told. So we'll go up to 120 with the Vikings. Oh, there you go. If it wasn't official before, plenty official now that the Vikings have won this duel, and we'll only have 2 other matches to speak of. So, as I said, weren't going to expect a lot. Ooh. We were expecting a match at 120 and nothing there. So 48-12 as Clayton Ebert picks up a win. Is Mayville going to send someone up for 126? Yeah, it looks like they will. It'll either be Soren Cooley or Wyatt Mayrose for the Cardinals at 126. Maybe they will wrestle 126 and 132. We'll see.
At 126 pounds from versus WLA's Kaylee Richardson.
So Kaylee Richardson and Wyatt Mayrose will lock it up here at 126. Either the second last or the last match here of the evening. Told you had to be here by 7:30. It's looking close, like that might be close, as Kaylee got a huge win when the Vikings last duel. Monster one. That was against Amro. Mayrose very active so far, as Richardson not able to get anything going offensively as of yet, but doing a nice job to avoid and try to lock things up, make it a little bit more physical here at 126. She's done that so far here. Front headlock, trying to snap it down and crawl around Wyatt Mayrose, but Mayrose doing a nice job to stifle that off. And nice defense there from the Mayville sophomore. Richardson, a sophomore for the Vikings. Now a front headlock for Mayrose. He's trying to snap it down, maybe potentially hook up a cradle. And he's working on that left leg. By the way, junior Vikes wrestlers in attendance tonight as well. Got the grade schoolers, and that's the next step for this program for Coach Recker, is really get that junior Vikes program rolling. Here's the takedown awarded, 2-0 for Mayrose. Once you get that, then you can start to expect your younger wrestlers, talking freshmen and sophomores, to maybe contribute a little bit more. Not that the Vikings don't have some talent there. Moses Metzger is a freshman, and he's done a terrific job this season. And they got a locked hands call on Mayrose, and that'll give a point to Richardson. She'll still be down, but sometimes those locked hands calls are a point you were not expecting to get. Richardson's only got 10 seconds to try to get the escape. Mayrose knows that, breaks her back down to the mat, and that'll be that here in the first period. 2-1 lead for Wyatt Mayrose at 126. I don't see any Mayville wrestlers getting loose for 132, so I think Carson Fulton, the final senior for the Vikings, will close it out with a forfeit up at 132. Mayrose goes down to start the second period. Back to his feet, trying to get hand control. Kaylee Richardson trying to pick him up and return him to the mat. She took a stall warning there, and got to cut him now. Got to cut him now. Oh, boy. That's a generous. That was very generous for the official not to award another stall there. Now, Richardson's got to be careful. He got potentially dangerous here. On Richardson. It was potentially dangerous, so no escape. I don't know how that would have ended up with Richardson on the bottom. Nice job refereeing there, by the way, in a match that is decided and out of hand. It's a perfect time to educate kids on something without having to sacrifice points to do so. That's a nice job. Richardson working on top. She's got to cut him here, or she's going to get another stall call as Mayrose continues to work. Oh, Mayrose does a nice job, swings Richardson to her back. She's got to be careful as Mayrose tries to go chest to chest here. He's going to get the reversal, and I believe all three back points. We'll see if Kaylee Richardson can get bellied back down. It's going to be tough here with 1 minute and 15 seconds left in the second period. I think Mayrose looks like he's going to clean this up and finish things out. Does a nice job to pull Richardson back to the mat. He's got those shoulders close, but this is a good fight by Kaylee Richardson. And she's going to try to turn it into some offense. So that might just about be what ends it. She gave it one good shot there to spin Mayrose to his back. But it is tight, and it is close to being done here with still 35 seconds left. If Kaylee Richardson can get out of this one, it'll be something of a Houdini attempt. Oof, that is close. Can see that second shoulder, though. That's a good no call thus far. Can Kaylee Richardson hang on for another 15 seconds? She's doing a nice job. This will be 1 minute and 20 seconds on her back if she can avoid getting pinned. That would be huge. In terms of, hey, there you go. That is perfect. She's back to, now can she finish it? She spins. Going to get a reversal. And, oh, my goodness, that would have been something else. So you get 3 back points, reversal, and then 3 back points of her own. My goodness. After all of that, 5-8. I didn't see the score beforehand, so I'm just going to trust that that's correct. That was incredible. Richardson almost finished that. Richardson almost pinned that. That was incredible. Does she have anything left in the tank? That's the question. You got to fight. So I don't think people realize, and look, I'm not a wrestler. I didn't wrestle a period in my life. But I don't think people realize how difficult that is to stay off your back for 1 minute and 20 seconds-ish. That takes so much out of you. Richardson continues to fight, though, as Mayrose tries to work another takedown. He leads at 8-5, working on that left ankle. And Richardson does a nice job. Oh, shoots in. Mayrose off balance. Now Richardson trying to crawl around, get a takedown of her own. This is not over yet. Mayrose trying to shoot in on a double now. Richardson trying to keep her legs back, working on that right. Now going to switch off once again to the front headlock. Richardson tries to crawl around, and Mayrose just steps through it. 40 seconds. Mayrose has been stuck in reverse. There should be a stall warning there. We'll see if it is forthcoming or not. You give a benefit of the doubt to someone who is as aggressive as Mayrose was early on in this match, though. Does look like Mayrose might be fatiguing a little bit, though, and Kaylee Richardson trying to take advantage. 16 seconds left. I think Wyatt Mayrose is just about done enough to get a decision over Kaylee Richardson. But I would say this is yet another good, solid performance, if not terrific, for Kaylee Richardson to go all 3 rounds and lose a tight one, 10-5 to Wyatt Mayrose. I think that was a heck of a job by Kaylee Richardson. If you're talking about a loss that'll give you some momentum, there you go. And this will wrap it up. Carson Fulton. And I don't see a Mayville wrestler with a warm-up off. This was announced as a forfeit, and it will be a forfeit for Carson. 54-15 is going to be the final score, and the Vikings finish it out with a win here tonight. So it's a bunch of forfeits. The Vikings got 3 pins as well. That makes the 54 score. For the Cardinals, they got 3 wins. So you saw, let's see here, 6 bouts wrestled, split them 3-3. If those were the only ones, or pardon me, just 5 bouts wrestled here tonight. 5 bouts wrestled. The Vikings, if you only counted those, would have won it 18-9 over the Mayville Cardinals. Add in the forfeits, it's 54-15. And the Vikings with yet another Flyway Conference victory. They have a bunch of them, only having lost to the Campbellsport Cougars and the Lemire Lions, the two heavyweights of the Flyway Conference. 54-15. A 33-second fall for Owen Moyne. Jacob Huey got pinned. Brendan Ebert had a 2-minute and 43-second fall. It was Brendan Ebert had the 2-minute and 43-second fall. Gage Kratz got a 4-minute and 49-second fall. And then it was a bunch of forfeits for the Vikings. The winners for the Cardinals, Wyatt Mayrose, you just saw the 10-5 decision over Kaylee Richardson, and then Taylor Sarinsky with the 3-minute and 28-second fall over Jacob Huey. Those are the winners of the 5 bouts that were wrestled tonight. 54-15, seniors once again for the Vikings. Carson Fulton, a 4-year wrestler, conference sectional champion sectional qualifier. He's going to be an engineer. Owen Moyne's been a conference champion. He's going to be a welder. Eli Mumm going into the trades. Jacob Huey going to be an electrician, as will Gage Kratz. Those are the 5 seniors. And then Kylan Monroe is the senior manager for the Vikings. 54-15. Not much else to say about that other than I hope you enjoyed it. This is the last of the sporting events on WLA TV of this week. Got a jam-packed couple of weeks coming up ahead, so hope you will join us for those. Jordan King saying so long, good night. Vikings win it here tonight, 54-15.